Hello everyone, I'm Xiao Gang. Let's continue looking at this part. Let's take a look at debugging a subtitle string using UElog. We can simply display this text. Let's see how we can do this. It's very simple. We'll first write a method called LogStream. Then we just copy the code from this document. And in this document, we can just copy that float directly. Because it seems we don't really need to create a method with a return value. Let's just look at the result. As for this time sequence, let's take a quick look. Through the diagram code, we can see that it should be this time and it's equivalent to an operation of hours, minutes, and seconds. Let's give it 20. Let's look at this part. These are okay. Now, there are no errors. This track to ink. Actually, there are some things here. That is, these things. I don't need to talk about them anymore. I think it's a stage. That is, how exactly to truncate. That is, you are, for example, 1.4 or 1.5 or 1.7. You truncate this. When truncating from float to int, you truncate it to 2 or truncate it to 1. That's what these functions do. And at the same time, there's a situation that is negative 1.4. Then when I truncate it, in the end, is it 1 or minus 2? As for this thing, you can try it out yourself. It's relatively simple. These are some of the features provided in our math code. Then here, it converts this floating point number. This floating point number is parsed into an int. And at the same time, takes the remainder of 3600. It takes the larger of the two. After taking it, it does a simple conversion. For these minutes and seconds, a simple conversion. That is roughly how many minutes and how many seconds. So we provide something like this. Now we can print this result. Okay, so here we give a log temp because we haven't covered logging yet. We should get to it soon because then here, actually, let's write it a bit longer. We'll give it a data. We give it a data. Then here, give a f. Let me check. Actually, this f, it actually has a certain nuance. Let me see. It should be written like this. Then we just give it like this. 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't make the precision too high. Okay, then here, we copy these two over. We give it this symbol. Then we fill in the numbers. We fill in the flow first, then it's the minutes, then it's the seconds. Now let's execute this result. I'll just switch directly to the breakpoint here. Okay, there's an error, right? Let's take a look at what caused the error. Let me check. The error here is a bit strange. Let's try not to look at this. Let's look at this output. It says there is something called logging stream 2 here. But actually, we don't have logging stream 2. Let's press enter again and check. It's resolved. Sometimes it's really amusing. Maybe this. You just have some IDL tools. Everyone probably doesn't need to care about it. It's just something you deal with occasionally. It might be this UBT-UHD. It's leaking. We've got a tube stuck like this. When it was stuck, some places weren't changed. There might be some issues when it was being recognized, because that thing just now is clearly this reflection file. Candidate's file has a problem. Since we're already here, we didn't come to edit it for everyone. It doesn't matter if it wasn't cut. We'll just log stream directly. Obviously, it's not him. It should be here. It's this one. Let's warm it up a bit. Let's double click it. Let's execute it directly. No problem. This floating point value, no problem. Okay, then after we come in. So here it has made a phase. Then we do this for 30 minutes. Then after 2 seconds, no problem. And this string is 32. So then observe our log. Then we can see, as for this log, you can notice this floating point value. It's clearly 456, but it turned into something like 46. Actually, here it is. That is a 2 buff. This part can be adjusted. When you output to the log, it's a precision issue, right? And actually, sometimes when we define a float value, for example, here, we give a float value. This should be covered later. Just like what we encounter here, let me explain it. Sometimes this float value might be strange. Let's give 1. For example, just this much. Then we might need QSGIN. Then after QSGIN, you will find. Let's execute it. Everyone will know. We might need to format the text. This kind of operation, we continue executing because it's too long. But maybe we only need 2 decimal places. Then sometimes you can do this to text. And then like this, there are some precision issues here. This is a small trick in Blueprint. Then we can create one. Just adjust it to 1. Okay, let's input it again. Let's take a look at the result now. Okay, let's check this result. Hey, it becomes 1.7, right? Actually, this is a small trick regarding text processing. That is, sometimes you may need to perform some step-by-step operations. Okay, well, this is not our main focus. Let's go back to our live streaming segment. Now we may need to manipulate this string more. Let's provide a method first. So here, let's take a look at this left, right, and mid. Then we might need to prepare a sentence here. Let's just grab a random piece of text for this. This is my good code. Okay. Then let's just click on this class. It actually has many methods. We can only pick a few. These few are actually a bit different from each other. Yes, these few are different. Everyone can take a look at the comments. Let's just look at this list. It actually passes a count. For example, let's pass a 5 now. We need to pass a number first before we can adjust to his method. This one is return the leftmost given number of character. It means it should only keep these 5. Should only keep it. Then we can see, so this right probably starts from the right, and you'll find there is the same here. A simple method like this. We can click in. You can see this starts from the right side of the string. Come back and count backwards. So now let's give it a 6. It should keep 6. And now let's give a middle. As for this middle, let's just give it a 5 and see. So this is retards the substring from start of orientation to the end. You can see it actually drops this one. See, it actually drops this one. We'll mainly introduce these 3. And pay attention. It returns this value here. It should all return a new value. It shouldn't be in place. We can connect it here. Okay. Middle, then right. Let's take a look. The red arrow here is because a semicolon was not added. Then we'll directly set a breakpoint here. Everyone, take a look. After entering the breakpoint, what does this effect look like? we have already entered the back top. Our string is normal. Then if we take from the left and concatenate 5 characters, you see these are the 5 characters. We take 5 characters and concatenate them to the very end. You see? They are at the very end. This concatenation is done. And this one is from the end. Concatenating 卡缝踏啊的比记方敌安啊. And actually, then he might also have some other methods like these. You can just take a look on your own, because they are all more or less the same, this kind of approach. For example, inline, whether to start from the left or the right. And then how many to truncate, how many to keep. It's quite in line with our conventional, this kind of thinking. Next, let's save our time. And let's take a look at other things. Just close it director. So the most important thing, actually, we have a spell it and the pathway to our way method. Let's just stay here. We use spell it. You can see that in this place, the parameter passed here is whether you want the left stage or the right stage. To make it easier for everyone to see, let's rewrite another method. Because this method is used in more scenarios than the previous one, this method is probably used quite often. This is FString. Then we give it a value. For example, a equals, say, my life equals 998. Okay, so we can do it this way. If I want to split it, that is the front and back parts. Actually, I'm not quite sure how many there are, but I can guarantee that this format follows this agreed upon format for a simple split. So that's how it should be done. Then you can see if the following parameter passes 2 new ones, then we need to prepare 2 characters ourselves to receive them. The first one is called my left. That is our left, my left key. Let's just set it to trigger at 0. Then we call it my right key. My right key. And here we also directly trigger 0. Then here we directly pass it. Let's see if passing it this way works. Okay, if it still reports an error here, we give it an address. Okay, that works. Then actually, let's search for this method across the entire project. You can see that the amount of this method is really too large. Let's take a look. Split it. We better put it this way. Meet case meet whose word. You will find this place. Take a look. Found here. You can see what he did here was, in the control reg, he himself goes, it's like taking a subtitle string and splitting it into left and right sides, right? That's roughly the idea. Okay, so we'll just give this method to him. As the name suggests, the K character must be my life, so his 9098 equals his. Well, we're at it. We'll write the rest of them together, so we don't have to guess to find out. And sometimes we also have this kind of writing, like my life, me money, and my health, and my mana. Okay, like this. For example, if we can't get a word out, then when we split it, you can split it in a very troublesome way, which is to find this comma. Find the comma and split it. Then find the index of the comma, then slice it, just like slicing an array. But we actually have an engine. It has a method like this, called ParseIntoArray. It can parse, that is, it can parse into an array. Like this, the other side has an FString. You can do something like this to get a string array. Okay, then we can put it in here. Can't click into it. So the first one must be the array it needs to output. Second one, it should be, if we want to split, it's this comma. Note that we generally use this English method. That's it. The parameters after can be ignored for now. After splitting like this, we will take these 4 elements and insert them. Actually, for this part, we can take a look at this size. We already know it will all succeed. we'll just let it do it this way. See, there are some methods here. We'll use ToUpper, then all uppercase. Pay attention to this method. Does it have a return value? Return a new string. Pay attention here. It should look like a new. So we'll have a new one. Receive it. Similarly, we'll call it upper strage, and here we'll call it lower str. Okay, actually, for this lesson, we'll just walk through this process. Yes, this is still quite important. And then we need an int. 3a equals 1. Then we directly set a breakpoint here. Okay, we hit the breakpoint here. You can see we already have this string. Let's just split it. You can see the left and right parts have been successfully split. This is used very often. Next is this Percy. Look, like this. Then we split it here and split it to here. It already has 4 elements. My life, my money, my mouth. Let's do a case conversion. All uppercase, all lowercase, so there's no problem here either. Okay, good. After we finish discussing this part, there is actually a slightly more complex case. Let me show it to you, since we have the chance. Let me show you in the last few minutes. You will just paste the code directly and won't wait for you to type it out manually. Okay, actually, right here. This is my car. We'll have it later. Later, when we work with HTTP and network communication, to make it convenient for you to have a commercial interface, for you to debug, of course, we'll set up for ourselves. We will also provide for everyone a local HTTP server for debugging here. But as for this widget, we will also set it up with a WebSocket HTTP server in commercial applications. It makes it more intuitive when you are demonstrating. So we can take a look, because this plugin is already becoming quite commercialized. And here, actually, we have a URL. And as for this URL, actually, after we split it, we need to encrypt the information within this URL. So this method is to split it already. It will pass in a URL. Here, it will split it using the slash. After splitting, we may need extract. Only these are useful. Actually, the first thing split is the protocol. Then here, the domain name, and then this. We usually call it on the point, which specific address is being accessed. So let me paste it here and demonstrate for you. This is completely irrelevant because this part of the code has actually been open sourced on GitHub, and if you buy the plugin, the source code is fully open sourced, and there is some free code on GitHub that everyone can get. So here, I will demonstrate a method for splitting a URL like this. Let's wake everyone up. Otherwise, this chapter might put everyone to sleep. I'm getting pretty sleepy myself talking about it because this is the kind of thing that you don't know. But after watching for 2 minutes, you'll pick something up and be fine. So obviously for this URL, everyone can just paste it directly. Here, this is the URL, and then actually we'll start doing a simple cut on it. I'll just operate it here. To be honest, this segmentation, I myself have done it many times. When I did the first version of the segmentation, actually, it wasn't segmented at all. Actually, look at that. ifLitex tutorial series. We manually pieced it together ourselves. It was very painful because it had dozens of URLs. And for each URL, you had to segment it yourself. That was just too painful. We definitely have tools for that. This is actually a start tool. Right here, first we prepare the host. Then we do a simple split by this slash. Obviously, this part with 0 must be the communication protocol. Then the first part is clearly this whole chunk is its domain name, and actually this path is really this part after it. But because of the slash, you will notice that you cannot just concatenate these things to form a complete endpoint. and such a path. So here we concatenate the following several elements. Finally, let's take a look at the execution result. It should be a equals 1. Everyone can take a screenshot of these and write this code. Rest assured about this code. It is completely fine. Okay, this part doesn't jump either, right? Just paste away and explain it to him. Then this negative loop, then this block. Because 0 and 1 are both fixed protocols, along with this domain name. So if there is something after 1, we will only then perform the corresponding processing. Okay, this part of ours is still starting up. I didn't cut this part out for everyone. It should be fine. It should be relatively fast, right? Ours is still relatively fast. We just randomly dragged this part, and this part should be called XD. There should be a URL. Okay, this is quite important. Actually, we have another case. There's one about dynamically creating a song. I see there's still time in this lesson. Let me show you this. This is also a very fun case. Okay, so this is our URL, and now we are cutting. After cutting it, we can't use this. We need to piece it together. What we can use after cutting it very much. This is its domain name. This domain name needs to be used for encryption, and this configuration hasn't been cut properly yet. After we cut it again. This configuration. Okay, it's cut. You see, this configuration is what we want. This is very practical and commercial. That is, after you start working, you may often have to do similar work, and then possibly different protocols. You're going to write a lesson plan like this. Okay, this lesson is quite solid. I talked to you for 20 minutes. Okay, thank you everyone. See you in the next lesson.